Right, guys, today's episode is pork sausage making. Yes, I've had to do the camera work by myself again, just because my camera woman is actually in the process of homeschooling her child. Um, so I decided I'd have a crack myself. I've got, in theory, I've got it all down. At the end of it, you'll see a couple of mishaps, but I'll leave that. May as well, a bit of fun. Anyway, crack on. If you're watching this and you think, oh, I haven't got a mincer and I haven't got this, don't worry about that. Buy some pork mince. Do exactly the same. Don't bother putting them into the skins. Just make sausage shapes out of them, or even burgers. I mean, to test the seasoning on that sausage meat when I made it, all I did was made a couple of patties, fried it, gave it to Michelin star chef, or like, as we call her, Tracy Twist, the missus, and she said the seasoning was fantastic. So there we go. It's from the boss, so it's got to be good. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Cheers, dudes. Right. Right. Today we're making sausages. I'm going to use sage and garlic because I've got some dehydrated garlic that I did a couple of months back, and it's time to use it. So this is a nice pork shoulder joint. Hasn't got as much fat as I would like, but as long as I just take the skin off and I use all that fat, we should be okay. Normally I like 70% meat, 30% fat, but let's try these. Now when you're making sausages, you want to keep everything cold, so this has literally just come out of the freezer. It's not frozen, but I've had it in the freezer for a good, I'd say, half an hour before I even start about thinking the pork. Now, just going to cut down, get the skin off for a start. There's a nice bit of meat. And then I want to try and trim all that fat. They don't make pigs like they used to. They used to get loads of fat on pigs. Now, oh, right. I know it doesn't look like there's a lot of fat, but we will get enough, I think, just to make enough. I mean, this is a, what, 1.5 kilo, say £3 joint of pork shoulder. Right, that will go in the oven with some salt and vinegar on it, and it'll make the best crackling you've ever come across. I'll do this one. There we go. There's a lot more fat on this one, on this side. So we'll cut as much of that fat off as we can because we want every bit of fat. You get the idea. It does help to have a sharp knife as well. And I know this sounds crazy, but everybody sharpens knives differently at different angles. So if somebody was to borrow my knife and then try and sharpen it themselves, they will never get as sharp as I can. Just not because I'm the best knife sharpener, it's just because we all slightly change the argument for sharpening. Right, so all we're going to do is cut this into strips, basically so it can go through the mincer. You'll see what I mean. So I'm looking about that, because that's about the width of the mincer. I'm going to put them in a tray, and then that tray of meat is going to go back in the freezer, because the colder your meat, the better it is for your sausage. You said the actress to the bishop. Right, didn't take long. There we go. There's a bit of fat on there. Right, that is the pork cut up, and the fat needs to go in with it. And don't forget that skin is going to make some lovely cracking. There's another piece there. Right, so this can go in the freezer. Right, I'm going to mince this now. I won't bother commentating because the mincer is going to make too much noise, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through the large die, and then I've got a smaller one, and then I'm going to put it through the smaller die. And you see how the holes are smaller? Here we go. Right, that's all gone through the thick die. Now I'm just going to put it back through the smaller one, and then we'll do the seasoning. Right, that's the mince. That's that shoulder of pork, but there's about 1.5 kilos there. That's gone through the mincer twice, once through the large die and once through the small die. Now we're going to season this. We've got black pepper, we've got some homemade garlic granules or garlic salt. That's some homemade celery salt, and that's just normal salt. You do need a lot of salt content for sausages, mainly for preservative reasons. And then there's some fresh sage straight out the garden. I won't put these whole ones in, but there's, I would say, that size. I've probably got about a dozen of those chopped up, ready to go in. Now, because we haven't got a great deal of fat in there, like I say, I normally like 70% meat, 30% fat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it into a, put it into the mixer, and I'm going to add some very, very, very cold water, and I'm going to mix it, leave it for, I would say, 2 minutes mixing with a dough hook, and that will give you the texture, just because we haven't got the fat. And then when you come to cook it, it will give you a lot better sausage. So I'll crack on and do that. Alright, so I'm going to put the seasoning in now. There goes the sage. And there goes the salt, garlic granules, black pepper and celery salt. There we go, that's all in. And I'll just turn it on a slow speed just to begin with. And you'll notice slowly but surely the texture of the meat will change. Once it's got the salt in, the salt will start emulsifying the fat. And once that starts, then I can start adding my water. Just not a great deal of water, just a touch of water. Right, we'll come back once it's emulsified. Right, that's it mixing away. Oh, I smell the garlic. I'll just change. Can you see it's starting to just slightly join together? Give it another 30 seconds and it will all be looking like sausage meat. Right, I'm going to turn the volume down a little, the speed down a little bit, and then I'm going to add probably half a cup of water, and then turn the speed up again. Go. Now that is starting to look like sausage meat. Do you agree? Right, ready for the skins. Right, I've got the sausage skins on. They've been soaking in the water for half an hour. I give them a good rinse through because there is a lot of salt on them. So all I've got to do now, put this sausage meat into the skins and we've got sausages. Right. Here we go. There you go, fat sausages. Right, let's try and get you a better angle. Right, here we go. Right. There, we'll start off with a bit hanging over. Right, start again. There we go. Perfect. Right, that wasn't so difficult, was it? You don't have to have a mixer, you don't have to have a mincer, you don't have to have a sausage stuffer or sausage skins. Just buy some minced pork, flavour it as much as you can. Once you've got enough flavour in, add some more. Because honest, it's just flavour you're looking for. These sausages we're going to have tonight, well, we're going to have 4 of the sausages tonight with some homemade black pudding. We've also got some home cured bacon and sadly some free range eggs from the butchers because I had to get rid of my chickens, sadly. But carry on, have a go, let me know what you think. If anything, if you're not happy with it, roll them up into a ball and make meatballs, cover it in tomato sauce, nobody will know. That's the truth. That's how I learned. Cheers, guys. Get stuck in. Right. Let's have a look. Leave me knife. I didn't get the knife out, did I? Right, can you see the pork? Here's the pork. Right guys, today. Oh, you bugger.
He loves like an Irishman, and he walks like a lumberjack. Under his beard are a whole city's tears. Every monster still has its fears. Dead man's blood will bring him to his knees. The shadows of the Königsallée. Another night, another corpse on his tally. The townsmen unsuspecting, it's uncanny. He smells like a businessman, but his eyes are empty as a glass of jam. Pretending that he's normal, it's just a scam. But everybody does the best they can. But in the night he makes you pay. The vampire of Düsseldorf. Well, his heart doesn't feel home anywhere. Every night he walks out alone, with veins full of meat. He drinks a beer down in his favorite pub, but it's dark outside, he'd rather drink your blood. The shadows of the Königsallée, the ghosts of victims haunt the trees, and the townsmen still don't suspect the thing. He's as cold as the river Rhine, under a chill December sky. The saddest killer in 1929. He'll take her to his home, she never will return. Maria, Maria, oh Maria.